I started creating just because I wanted to document my life better. As far I'm not someone that really takes pictures a lot, and I just felt, you know what, let me just let me just create content around it. Let me document my life. I can look back years to come and say, oh, okay, this was me 10 years ago, this was me 15 years ago, right? I also noticed that I could take good videos of people and good pictures of people. And that was one thing that now led me into mobile videography. Um, but over time, I realized that I have now built a community. I don't think I realized up until recently when community became a major thing and people started saying, oh, have your community, you have a community, yada yada. It was just a whole lot. There's a whole lot of information on the internet, but it's up to you to now pick what is valuable to you. I think that's one thing everybody should know. There is a whole lot of information, there is a whole lot of do this, do that, start now, be consistent, and all of that. But it's important to pick the what is key to you and then to now execute. You cannot afford to just listen to all of these things alone. You have to, pick what is important to you. And I think that's what has helped me over time because just like Kenny said, I'm self-taught. I have not had to pay for any video editing course. I have always had to watch videos, check on TikTok, check on Instagram. While I'm scrolling, I'm picking important things on how I would try something the next time. And over time, it has helped me, to be honest, because guess what? I have been paid to do videos. I have been paid to, come for events, to shoot for this event. Worst case scenario, I will keep trying and try it like happy. And that's what has helped me. Um, Now to my community, how did I grow my community? It was just like me showing up a bit more consistently. I built my community from showing up over the years. Have I been the most consistent creator? No. Could I have built more members of my community? Definitely yes. Now, this is not a time for me to say, oh, I'm pitying myself or anything. I'm just trying to let you know that even with what you have, just like the other people have, just like Arike said, just like other creators say, where they say start with what you have and all of that, you can actually start with what you have and build your community. All right. Those signature series in that form, I'm trying to build up from what she said. Those signature series now comes down to how you can now stand out. All right. Because your signature series is what makes you stand out. Guess what? We all know Arike for faces already. The fact that she has other I know her for she also teaches us how to edit videos and all of those things. But guess what? Faces is more popular. She has all those vibe series, and we can say Arike is significant to faces. We can say Tomike is significant to what? Olori Ebi, my family members. Do you get? She has something she calls her people. So when you hear that name anywhere, you know that it is Tomike that is talking. When you hear what else can we hear? Someone like Eric will say, Eric, my people, we don't do that here. When you hear that, you know you're talking of Eric. When you hear change that hair, you know we are talking of Oluwaseun, Ayomi or so. I can't remember her name. But you know, those are things that people have already put in place in telling their stories that now make them to stand out. So, how do you want to stand out? Now let's start from like basics. When you hear storytelling, what comes to mind? How you tell stories, right? How you tell stories, that's what comes to mind. And then we are saying that storytelling is an art, is the art of sharing real life experiences. Now I'm not just saying telling stories as it is, but sharing experiences in a way that makes other people see themselves inside it. Are we getting me?
Yes, we are.
Okay, I just want to know that we are together. So, storytelling is the art of sharing not just experiences, but real experiences in a way that other people can see themselves inside it. Now, it can be you exaggerating it, it can be you telling a lie, literally, I'm sorry to say, but it is how you can now tell in such a way that everyone can say, oh, okay, I can relate. Not everyone might be able to say they can relate, but at least one or two people can be able to relate to what you are saying. And that's one thing that has helped me over time. I want to make it, I want you to understand it from my own point of view because this is my reality. Now, I didn't know I was moving on or there was growth in it until someone reached out to me. I have never met this person before. And she found my video on another person's page, and she's like, "Oh, you know this person?" I said, "Oh, we are church members." And she's like, "I just wanted to tell you that I followed you, and I don't even know that she followed me because I've not met this person before." She said, "I follow you because your stories are relatable and they are realistic." And it got me because she said, "Oh, okay, your stories are relatable and they are realistic. You moved to your apartment. I could tell that this is the reality of some of us. Not everybody can afford." So, okay, for context, I moved to a new space sometime last year. And when I moved in, it took me 1 month before I moved to the after I paid, sorry, it took me 1 month before I moved into this space. And then it took another maybe 2 weeks to get maybe a mattress and one or two other things I needed. Now, when I was telling my story, I made sure everybody understood that I did not move into this house immediately. It took me maybe 2 weeks before I painted. It took me another maybe 1 week before I got my mattress and all other things I needed. I was getting them in bits and pieces. Now, this story resonated with someone. She said, and that's one person that told me. Now, imagine how many other people could relate to it because she said that she liked the fact that I was telling something realistic. It wasn't the fake life that we kind of see on the internet. Fine, some people are not living fake life, they have the money. But I didn't have the money as at then. So I was doing my things in bits and pieces. And then she was happy that she could see her reality in someone. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense to you guys. Are we all together? All right, great. Now, that is what storytelling is. The fact that you can see yourself, people can see themselves in you, they can relate to it. And that's why we always talk about the fact that storytelling has to be one, it has to be authentic, and it has to be relatable. Now, I always give an example every single time I have to talk about being authentic, and that is me differentiating myself from other creators in where I currently am. I'm in the city of Abeokuta, right? And there are other creators that are in this same city that I am. Now, they are more popular people. If if there's any Abeokuta person here, they will know the likes of Ianu, they will know the likes of Ella, they will know the likes of IJ. Now, these are people that are my guys, right? But guess what? We are not the same. We don't tell the same story. We don't tell our stories the same way. We don't do the same type of content. When you hear someone like Yanu will tell you, or Ella will tell you, "Oh, come with me, come a day with me, a day in my life, da 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 da," and then they are always like fast with the way they speak. Now, if you know me personally, you will know that I am not as vocal, I am not as fast as these people are. So authenticity for me comes when I now speak like myself. I don't try to fake it when I'm doing my voiceovers or I'm trying to tell my story. So you can meet me in person and then be able to tell that okay, this is the same person. I don't have the strength for it. And the reason why I'm saying this is because guess what? If you try to fake it on the internet, you will be drained, you will be tired. That is the honest truth about it. Even as I am being my original self, I can be sometimes tired. I can sometimes be tired, to be honest. Because we say consistency, show up regularly, and all of these things. Guess what? It is not easy, and sometimes you don't even want to do anything, but you still have to show up, right? So imagine showing up being fake. Honestly, you'll be drained, you'll be tired. So, as a storyteller, number one is you have to be authentic with your stories. You have to make it like authentic. Now you have to make your stories relatable too. The stories have to be relatable. And the truth is, your everyday life, for someone like a 9 to 5, for example, someone else is also experiencing what you're experiencing as a 9 to 5. So how can you tell your stories in such a way that another 9 to 5 can see your content and be like, oh, I can relate, this is my reality. Guess what? You already have your target audience that you are building. All right, are we together? So for me, I have had to build my content from telling people realistic things, showing people my process, and then bringing emotions into it. That has been how I have had to create my content. I tell the truth, I take people through my process and emotions. Okay. So there's nothing like I'm taking it. You cannot accost Jemimah outside and say, should we say you're living in one mansion like that? Guess what? People do these things. But for people that have to tell their stories in ways like this, I'm trying to get my words together. People that have to tell their stories in way like this, you will know that they are trying to get you on something. There is an Ella lady that I know. She always likes to tell her stories in funny ways and then, fabricate stories. That is how she catches the attention of her audience. If you can do that, please do it. If you can infuse a bit of Yoruba or your native language or Igbo or Hausa, there are people that do that. They'll just be talking and they just say, Benny, shaking from here, and then they'll just come back to English and then maybe speak pidgin and then carry you along. Guess what? It's now like they are telling, it's giving I'm gisting my friend. It's not giving I'm giving a speech. Mm-mm. Don't let your stories be like that. Let it give I am carrying people along. Let it give that you are taking people on a journey with you, and that's where process comes in. So for me, I tell people stories about when I go for my shoot, when I go for an event, when I go for an outing, all of those things. I always, take bits and pieces of that and then put it together and then share my story. So if you go to my page, you will see my last year's recap. I didn't do the regular thing everybody did. What I just did for my last year's recap was to share from January up until December in less than 90 seconds. And I just said, oh, for me in January, I finished NYSC, I did this, I did that. Now, people who followed me from January up until December, they could understand it because they've been following through. So it made so much sense to everybody. Are we together? It makes so much sense to everybody that, oh, we saw you in January, yes, and this is you by December. They could tell, they could relate. So this is me carrying them through my process, and then it's not like I'll just go. Now, Arike said something about the fact that when you go and you come back and then you now do announcements. Almost when my phone failed that year, I did not do any announcement. I just came and started posting, and you know that I'm back. Because when you do the announcement, that you just give so much anticipation, carry them through the process. Let them know that, oh, okay, this is you, this is your reality. And then all of these things now build trust among your community members in such a way that you can see. When I always say something that when you build a community, there's nothing you cannot tell to your community. And that's why someone like Okoyemi Sama came today can tell you that he's opening at a restaurant and he will sell like mad. That's why Tobike has Malia World. She has it before. Now she has a what's it called? She has a showroom. She has a proper hairstyling, a proper salon, and then people walk in and then they make their hair. Why? Because she has built a strong community over the years. So to be honest, community cannot be underrated. Your community is your backbone as a creator. Your community is your backbone as a creator because when brands now want to reach out to you, guess what? They see your engagement. They see that, oh, people are coming, are responding, people are commenting, and all of that. Now, another way I built my community over time is responding. Aside from responding to comments, is my stories. So there was a period that I wasn't even posting well, but on my stories, I was always updating something. So once in a while, I will come on my stories and ask questions. Oh, how are you really? And when they answer me, I will not just leave them like that. Guess what? I would respond to them, and then they will feel like they are part of something. They feel like somebody is hearing them out. So when I respond to them, the period that I was not online for one whole week, somebody's already texting me, oh, what's going on? Are you fine? All of those little things now matter. So that's how important community is because you've already been telling them stories, so they know that, oh, something is something is going on with you. Are you fine? Are you sick? Are you offline? Like while you're offline, is everything okay? We miss your updates, we miss your stories. Now, storytelling is not until you say story. Oh. It could even be your vlogs. We have ASMR vlogs already. So if you're not even comfortable with doing voiceovers, it could be ASMR. It could be you finding a very nice audio putting over it. But how you arrange your clips already matters. All right? Are we still together or we are far away? I want to be sure we are together. Okay, I can see some thumbs up here. All right. So, um, what storytelling in content actually means is people following you and engaging. So, in it has to balance in such a way that over time you are telling, just like I said before, Terry. Your stories are relatable, your stories are authentic. People can see themselves in you, and there is like a level of emotional attachment already in such a way that they can now respond to you and then, follow through, respond, comment, engage your post, share your post, and all of that. And that's how you stand out because you are telling stories about the real you. You are telling stories in your own, with your own tone, in your own voice, and all of that. Now, one thing I also want us to note is that people connect with your processes and not necessarily perfection. People connect with your processes, not necessarily your perfection. Now, people that we already, I think one mistake we as young creators, beginner creators make is feeling like if there's no engagement, that's all. You are not doing again. Guess what? Salem has been creating for how many years? I've known Salem since was it 2018 that I've been following him, and he was creating before then. Now Salem is doing colored videos for all of us. He was doing black and white then. No. So I've known Salem since then. I've known someone like Victor since same period when she was still being natural, and then it was more like hair content and all of that. Who else have I known? I've known Dineji for years before COVID time. And these people were creating as if they were getting millions of naira at them. I'm sure they were not getting paid as much as they are currently being paid. But guess what? They kept creating. With I can tell this because I followed through their process. They were not perfect. Dimeji will show us some of the things he was using then. Selim has also had to show us that he was using a Samsung phone when he started creating. Now we follow through his process, and that's why we are following him up until now. Now there are new followers that followed him maybe just last year, and then they'll keep on following it because of how he tells his story. It is not perfection, and that's one thing I need all of us to know. It's not until your content is perfect, your story is perfect, your English is giving Queen's English. That's when you will now post the voiceover or your video because the aesthetics is not. Leave aesthetics and post your content too. Leave that English and post your content. There are people that speak pidgin when they are telling their stories, and we follow them. How does Eric talk his talk? And we follow Eric, right? So people follow your processes and not perfection. And in the process of it, I think another thing I need us to understand is not all of us really know. We don't entirely know what we are doing until a particular time, and that's why you have to keep trying until you hit it. I, I hope that makes sense. You have to keep trying. You're a beginner content creator. Okay, you like hair content, you like fashion content, you like lifestyle, you like going out, for example. So let's look at someone who is an outgoing person. Oh my god, okay. So let's look at someone who is an outgoing person, for example. You like to flex, and then you're telling us you are shy. I don't understand. Then you have videos, compile them together, put a nice audio there. Then you can tell us another story of how, it could be maybe what happened on the road when you were going to that event that you will use and tell us a story. That especially Lagos people, if you're a Lagos person, yes, sorry, there was a fight on the road before you got BRT, this, that. It's engaging because guess what? Someone else somewhere had the same experience in another area because it's in Lagos. There's always a fight at the BRT station. There's always a long queue. All of those things, you already overlaid it and told us an amazing story. Amen. So all of those things, you've added them together, told us an amazing story. You tell us a week in your life. It could be as if, just like she said, series, something something funny that happened this week, and you keep on telling us how one man in the bus that you entered was telling you give your life to Christ because you are I'm a Christian. Give your life to Christ. You are wearing trousers, you go to hell, and then you can tell us an amazing story from them. You can tell us a story of how those people that are always advertising all those creams inside Lagos buses. You've already told us a story. Now you've already viewed us. Your videos are telling us, are showing us from Get Ready With Me, to the road, to how work went, to how you ate, and all of that. Are these things relatable or not? For Ibadan people, it seems like Micra driver that almost hit your mommy's car when you were going, or hit your car, and then you were telling the man, and then the man just drove off. You had to speed to go and meet him, or the way the man just maneuvered beside you, and you were like, what's going on? Or you were trying to cross, and one person just shouted, "Oh yeah, okay, that's how they used to abuse in Ibadan." I can relate because at least I've lived there. Also, when like Abeokuta, I always complain about the city because shops close late. I mean, shops close very early. They open very late and they close very early. So that's the story. I even did it one time. I just shared it on my snap where I was like, I got to this shop as at 10 a.m. They've not open, and it's a supermarket, and they were still using it to play. Now I've already told my story in the comment section. Somebody else will definitely tell me. That was how it happened to the other day. That I was trying to get something, and the woman said she doesn't have change, and she was not going to give me. I should find change. All of those funny things. Now, by the time you put it in a funny manner, as if you are gisting with your friends, guess what? You're already building your community. And brands will now start saying that you have engaging communities, they can work with you. Now, guess what? As small creators as we are, you probably have just 500 followers. But if you are having a consistent 2 people, 3 people, 5 people that are commenting, it is gradual. Tomike, Salem, Eric, all of them did not get 1,000 comments in in um in 1 minute 2 years ago or 5 years ago. They are getting it now. They have worked it. So I need us to understand that it is a gradual thing and you need to put in the work. So it gets better. I watched three years ago voiceover that I did, and it was so cringe to me. I'm like, is it me that did this voiceover? Is it me that edited this? I was embarrassed. I was like, no, I must not put this out again. But there is growth. Now people are seeing it. There have been times that I posted videos and somebody had to reach out, whose camera did this? I'm like, it's the same phone I use because I'm getting better at it. Okay, so I need you to understand that the more stories you tell, the more better you become. You now get better at telling your stories. You get better at putting your clips together. You get better at engaging your community. So they say build. All right. So people engage more with your processes and not perfection. So it's not until you get all the aesthetics and everything. At the beginning, it will be shaky. I remember someone asked a question in the last session that today she wants to post her first video. Post it. Guess what? You might not have more than 5 likes because it's your first video. But in the next 1 year, you will look back and you'll be like, oh, I'm better. I have more likes. I have more followers. And over time, you can now tell as you are posting all of these things, which of your stories your community engages with more. Because you are saying that sometimes we feel like, oh, I want to tell stories about okay, I just want to post vlogs alone. But for me, days when I post vlogs, sometimes they move better. And I will just carry people along about my day or just gist my community members and all of that. But when I post hair content, it goes better because I'm on natural hair. So sometimes I might not even put voiceover safe, and then it will go better. So I notice people engage more with hair content. So what do? I have to infuse a bit more of hair content into what I do because that's what my community wants to see. That's what they want to hear. So on a day when I post fashion content, like, oh, maybe a get ready with me, it might not move as much. And on some days, my blog will still move better. But you need to understand, check your analytics and understand what your community are moving with. So just like I've said before, I've talked about emotions. Okay, I think I talked about emotions already. All right. So how you tell your story. Just like when we write essays, right? You need to have an intro, the body, and then the outro, right? So your intro is your hook. You need to catch the attention of your audience in the first 3 to 5 seconds max. Catch the attention of your audience. What are you telling them that Kini? I think there was one hair video I did where I said something like Omo. I'm trying to remember. Okay, I think the last time I worked with a brand, I made a statement of what one of the things that the convenience tab, and then I just put it, and then that was the hook for me. Okay. Um, the last time I posted something about lifting one time, and I talked about the fact that lately the weather has been very cold. Now, immediately I said lately the weather has been very cold. That was already a good conversation starter because the weather was actually truly cold, and everybody is cold. So they are wondering what is this girl talking about when she's saying the weather is cold. There is this other hook that I think I love to use a lot. Um, this sound. Yep, that's me. And you're probably wondering how I got into this situation. I love to use that hook a lot. So once I say that, everybody is like, what happened this time around though? Do you get? So all of these things are important things. You cannot afford to just say, oh, after the hook, say anything and then bye bye. How you now live matters. So recently I started doing this thing where I call my community members. Funny enough, I didn't even do any introduction to calling them gems. I just started calling them my gems. And then everybody is answering me in my comments. Okay. So at the end, you can now ask a question. I think Tobe does this thing where he says, oh, how is your day going, Joe? Kegan will say, you're welcome. Um, Eric will say, we don't do that here. Do you understand? So you can have a hook. Now, I'm not saying you must find it at the beginning of starting your content. No. But just make sure you can just ask them a question so that they can reply in the comments. It engages them better. All right. Um, so if in case you are wondering what content should I post, I think I've made examples of type of people that you can talk about your everyday life and all of that. So you can turn, for me, I turn every like ordinary moment into a content. Now, I need us to also understand that the internet does not need to know everything about you. I think that's one mistake that we are currently making now, where creators just post unnecessary things, or people just post unnecessary things, all in the name of they're a content creator. You can protect your heart, you can protect your space. What person A will talk about on the internet, you do not necessarily have to talk about. And that is where branding and all of that comes in. How do you want to brand yourself? How do you want to look? How do you want the internet to see you? How do you want your community members to see you? But as much as all of that is, you can now selectively pick the moment that you'll be turning into content. All right. So you document these things and then you can always tell stories around it. I think one thing I wrote here is that you don't need a big story. You just need one true story. All right. You don't necessarily need a big story. You just need one true story. A random shoot for me, it's like a random shoot, a compliment I got, or maybe how a shoot I had. I'm a member videographer, so it could be how a shoot went, one terrible client I had, all of those things, and I tell it in a story that can resonate with people. Now, for relatability, I wanted to say something that make sure you are specific and then you can also infuse dialogues into it. So that was why I said that it now makes it feel like you're talking to actual people. People are listening to you. Let them feel like you are gisting with them. All right. So an example is how people say consistency is important. But for me, I would say there were days I posted even when nobody liked my work. That's how I grew as a creator. We are saying the same thing, right? We are saying the same thing, right? We're talking about consistency. But how did I put consistency in my story? Okay, I'll take that again. So consistency is important. That's the general thing. Oh, consistency is key. You have to be consistent. You have to show up regularly and all of that. But for me, the way I'm telling my story, I'm talking about the fact that there were days that I posted and then nobody liked my work. But now, that was like years back. But now I've built a community. I've posted better, and then that's how I've grown as a creator. Am I not talking about consistency? But it's not relatable to my community because they can see that, oh, she has experience. That's why she thinks like that. So she's not just telling us consistency is key. Post regularly, post every day. Now I'm telling them that this is my process and this is how it has been. All right. So I also mentioned that how you can make your audience part of your story is by infusing your language, with using pidgin and all of those things. Just be real with um your audience, all right? One common mistake that storytellers make is um trying to sound impressive, and that's trying to be perfect in it. Omo, you really don't have to be perfect like that. Fine, excellence is important. Excellence is important. But you can see that you are growing. Just like I said, in months and years to come, you can look back and say, oh, I am a better storyteller. I am a better creator. All right. Um, so finally, I'd like to say that um, I didn't build my content creation journey by being perfect. I just built it by, sharing my processes, telling rich stories, and over time, I'm growing my community and my people are finding me. All right. So yeah, that's my final like thing on that. I wanted to also say in summary that well, happiness that I think one mistake and one another common mistake that we mindset sorry that we have is looking at our follower count and honestly I think it was last year I realized that even with my followers I think I'm doing well. I can do better. Oh. I'm not saying I'm the best content creator out there, please. But am I making money? Maybe not. But is there growth? Yes. So it's not until you go with the viral trends, I mean the trends, the I used to say something, that's where me I'm protecting my brand. I cannot dance on the internet. You cannot see me jumping on the internet all because I want to gain followers. You will not see me there. But I know that I am growing, I am getting better at what I'm doing, and that's what matters. So imagine you now dance on the internet and you got a viral post. Now you now had more followers, up to 10K followers. Guess what? Brands will sit down with my page and your page, and they will still pick me before they pick you. Because after that 1,000 10K followers that you got, after that 10K followers that you got, did you get a community? So when you want to follow me as a content creator, immediately you saw the first video I did, the first thing you will do, you will not just follow me automatically. Psychology will just make you check through my page and see what I'm doing. Oh, is my page clean? Yes. Oh, I like the way she's doing her thing, and then you will follow me. That's how it works. So imagine you dance once. Now, if dancers want to come on your page and follow you, they cannot follow you because you've already just danced or you just did one viral thing and that's all. So that's where consistency comes in because over time you are consistently telling stories around the same thing, around who you are and all of that. And then they can see the real you. Okay? So followers, growing just followers doesn't mean you are building your community like that too, and doesn't mean you are making money. Well, I don't know why you started creating. I think I should have asked that at the beginning of the class to know why we are content creators, but there's no time for that. But please and please, just have it at the back of your mind that it is very, very important to engage with your community, how you are telling your stories. Make sure you reply your comments, make sure you reply your DMs, engage with them, and over time it gets better. I wanted to recommend a couple of storytellers or content creators that you can check. Someone like OJAYY. He's even having like not virtual classes, but like free classes on the page for how you can tell your stories from the hook to being relatable to being emotional with your content and all of that. Even the tone of how you talk matters and all of that. So OJ is taking all of that. Please go through his page, OJAYY, to see that someone like Victor. Victor is also like a content creator that shares how content creators can be better. Salem King for one, he's like king in that aspect. Other creators that you can follow to inspire you, people like Obie Distona, people like Oluwaseun Ayo, um, people like Praise Adio, you can check them out and then see how they. Now, I'm saying this because these are people that when I see their content, I'm encouraged to do better. I'm encouraged to, be more consistent because I literally saw how these people have grown over the years and then they are doing amazing work. So, people of God, right here, will I rest my case? Thank you so much for having me. I hope you've learned a couple of things. I hope you enjoyed the class, the session.